Hi there, and welcome to the Celeb Tea. Will Smith wasn't just a Hollywood actor. He was the Hollywood actor, the golden boy, the embodiment of charm, talent, and charisma. For decades, he stood as a symbol of everything good about celebrity culture: family values, humor, class, and a spotless reputation. From the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to blockbuster hits like Men in Black and Independence Day, Will seemed untouchable, a real-life superhero who reached unimaginable heights without ever crossing into darkness. But today, that same man who once defined cool has become a cultural punchline. Somewhere along the way, Will Smith stopped being the guy everyone loved and started becoming the guy everyone laughed at. His responses to his wife's public revelations, his awkward attempts to stay relevant, the infamous Oscar slap, every move he's made over the past few years seems to have backfired. Instead of redeeming himself, each effort only fuels more criticism. What was once universal admiration has now become widespread skepticism. For the last few years, Will has been on what feels like a never-ending redemption tour, appearing in interviews with a fixed smile, dropping motivational quotes on social media, and doing everything possible to convince the world that he's still the same likable Fresh Prince we grew up with. On paper, it should work. After all, who doesn't want to see a comeback story? But the harder he tries to win people over, the less authentic it feels. His recent return to music, a comeback single after 2 decades, was supposed to remind everyone why they loved him in the first place. Instead, it reminded them why they stopped. The response was brutal. The internet tore it apart. Fans called it out as tone-deaf, and conspiracy theorists even labeled it a humiliation ritual. But all of this, the backlash, the skepticism, the public downfall, can be traced back to one night: the 2022 Oscars. The night Will Smith walked onto the stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face on live television. In a matter of seconds, the wholesome image he had spent decades building was shattered. The internet exploded instantly. Memes, tweets, news headlines, everyone had something to say. What could have been an awkward award show moment turned into one of the most infamous events in pop culture history. Will claimed he slapped Chris because of a joke about his wife Jada's alopecia, a medical condition that caused her hair loss. While some initially sympathized, that support faded quickly. Within days, Hollywood turned its back. Studios froze projects, deals disappeared, and Will Smith went from beloved star to industry liability almost overnight. Only one project survived the fallout: Bad Boys 4. Everything else was put on hold indefinitely. That single slap didn't just bruise Chris Rock's face, it bruised Will Smith's career. Afterward, Will went silent. For a while, he seemed to disappear completely, taking what looked like a forced hiatus from the spotlight. Then suddenly, he came back full force, appearing on podcasts, dropping motivational content, and even freestyling in random videos. It was clear that he was desperate to rebuild his public image, but each attempt seemed more awkward than the last. In an unexpected twist, Will even started collaborating with YouTubers and streamers like KSI and XQC. It was a transparent move to connect with younger audiences, an attempt to tap into influencer culture. The problem? Will Smith isn't an influencer. He's a movie star. The collaborations came across as forced and unnatural, more like a dad trying to fit in with his kids' friends than a genuine connection. What might work for Gen Z creators simply doesn't land the same way for someone of Will's generation in stature. Despite the odd collaborations and endless interviews, over 50 appearances in just a few months, something was missing. The energy that once came naturally now felt rehearsed. Instead of authenticity, people saw a man performing for approval. And in trying so hard to remind the world that he's still that same lovable guy, Will Smith ended up revealing something deeper: insecurity. His new songs and interviews read like a confession of guilt, frustration, and exhaustion. For a man who built a career on effortless confidence, it was jarring to watch. It's easy to forget just how much Will Smith accomplished before this downfall. Across film and music, he earned 25 major awards and more than 75 nominations. He was one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, safe, funny, charming, and universally loved. His personal life only strengthened that image. In an industry notorious for broken marriages and short-lived relationships, Will and Jada seemed different. They met in the mid-1990s, married in 1997, and appeared to have the perfect partnership: mutual respect, success, and two talented kids who followed in their footsteps. Jaden and Willow became stars in their own right, sharing the screen with their father in films like The Pursuit of Happiness and I Am Legend. For years, the Smiths looked like Hollywood royalty, glamorous, close-knit, and scandal-free. But behind that perfect image, cracks were forming. Around 2013, rumors about Will and Jada's marriage began to swirl. Whispers of an open relationship spread across tabloids and social media, fueled by a cryptic interview Jada gave where she said, "Will can do whatever he wants as long as he can look himself in the mirror and be okay." Fans immediately interpreted that as confirmation that their marriage had no boundaries. Jada tried to clarify with a Facebook post, insisting they didn't have an open marriage, just a grown one. But by then, the internet had already made up its mind. What the public didn't know was that the couple had quietly separated years earlier. It wasn't until Jada's 2023 interview with The Today Show that she admitted they'd been living separate lives since 2016. For 7 years, they kept up the illusion of a happy family, posing together at red carpet events and sharing family moments online, all while their marriage existed only on paper. It was a revelation that made their once envied relationship feel like a carefully maintained performance. Even during that separation, Will continued to play the devoted husband. In 2017, he posted a long, emotional tribute celebrating what he thought was 20 years of marriage, while Jada was publicly addressing persistent rumors about infidelity and swinging. Their public narratives couldn't have been more different. Will clinging to the image of unity while Jada was dismantling it in real time. Then came August Alsina. In 2015, Jada met the young R&B singer through her son, Jaden. She introduced him as a family friend, but years later, that friendship evolved into something far more intimate. In 2020, August confirmed he had a romantic relationship with Jada and claimed that Will had given his blessing. The statement broke the internet. The following month, Jada invited Will onto her show, Red Table Talk, to address the situation. What followed was one of the most uncomfortable conversations ever broadcast on social media. Jada described her relationship with August as an entanglement, a word that instantly became a viral meme. Will sat across from her, visibly pained, as she explained the affair happened during a time when they were separated but still legally married. For years, Will had cultivated a reputation as the picture-perfect husband and father. That single episode demolished it. Suddenly, his marriage became a public spectacle, dissected and ridiculed across every corner of the internet. Each new interview or revelation from Jada only seemed to wound his image further. And after enduring years of memes, mockery, and humiliation, it all culminated in that one moment on the Oscar stage. The slap wasn't just about Chris Rock. It was years of bottled-up frustration exploding in real time. Viewers could sense that it wasn't merely about a joke. It was about everything that came before it: the public humiliation, the loss of privacy, the endless scrutiny. Ironically, Will's act of defending his wife only deepened the narrative of his downfall. Many pointed out the painful irony. He risked his entire career to defend the same woman who had publicly embarrassed him multiple times. After the slap, things only got worse. Old footage resurfaced of Jada filming Will without his consent, pushing him to talk about their marriage while he clearly looked uncomfortable. In the clip, Will firmly asked her not to record him, explaining that his social media presence was part of his livelihood. Watching it, fans saw a man who looked exhausted, someone trying to maintain dignity while his private pain was turned into public entertainment. It was heartbreaking, and it completely reframed how people viewed the couple. Some fans still defend Will, seeing him as a man broken by years of emotional strain. Others have written him off entirely. But one thing is clear. The moment he slapped Chris Rock, the man who once symbolized joy and positivity lost control of his narrative. It became the perfect storm, a single impulsive act that permanently altered public perception. Will Smith remains one of the most talented, influential entertainers of his generation. His legacy, Grammys, box office hits, and cultural impact is undeniable. But in recent years, every attempt he's made to regain the world's affection has only highlighted how much he's changed. The effortless cool that once defined him has been replaced by something else, desperation. And that's the real tragedy. Because in trying so hard to convince the world that he's still authentic, Will Smith has lost the one thing that made him special in the first place, authenticity itself.